You see the thumbnail, single. Now I'm gonna talk about the challenges of being single because I don't think a lot of people really talk about this or deep dive into what it is, the not what it is, but the challenges of being alone, being by yourself, not being in a relationship, not having family, friends, or having a relationship, a companion. People don't talk about the real challenges. Well, I haven't heard them. So I'm going to speak on those challenges from my experience and my lens. So a lot of times when you're single, a lot of the challenges are going to happen within. They're going to happen right in your mind. Your mind is going to tell you a lot of things, just like your mind tells you a lot of things about everything every day. Your mind never turns off. It's always talking. The ego is always talking. It never gives us a break. But what happened is when you're single, you'll go out and about in your everyday life and you'll see couples. And you'll see couples together and you'll look at them and you may resent them. You may resent them or you may actually embrace what they have, depending on where you are in your life, depending on your happiness that you experience within yourself. But sometimes you may see couples and you may resent what you see. You may look at them and be like, why are they together? But you may see couples and be like, wow, you know what? I really appreciate that. But you appreciate what's genuine, what's authentic. And you're able to see that a little better when you're single. You can see people that are faking it, and you can see people who are actually genuinely in love with each other. But a lot of times for me, when I see couples together, when I see people that are marriages or, relationships and things of that nature, we've been taught that this is actually a good thing for a human being. But we don't look at the flip side of it. We don't dive deep into why people are really in relationships. And for me, what I've gathered is that people a lot of times are in relationships and afraid to be single because they come from a state of lack. They come from a state of lack within themselves, so they have to cling on to somebody else to get that love, affection, validation, and attention that they can't give themselves. A lot of codependency. So for the person that's single, when you're looking at people and you're like jealous of their relationships, just think about all of the turmoil and things that that person may be going through. Some of these people don't even want to be together. They want to get a divorce or they want to leave the relationship, but they can't because they benefit from it in some kind of way. It has some kind of stronghold on them. Maybe it could be financially. They have children together. They have businesses together. Or the person can just be very codependent emotionally where they need that dopamine rush from that person. And they don't feel like they can get it anywhere else. Some people are afraid to be single because you have to deal with self every day. It forces you to face the challenges in your life. It forces you to face yourself. And that's something that a lot of people can't do. A lot of people can't sit with that silence. They can't get up and just do things for self every day without having someone with them. I've gone outside on nice days and just walking around, and I see people walking around with their spouse, and I'm like, damn, you can't even go outside by yourself and enjoy a day alone and be to yourself and be in your own thoughts. You're with that person all the time. And even if you're not with them, you're probably talking to them on the phone every other day. And you're going out on dates here and there. But you're still spending time with them. What about spending time with yourself? What about just walking down the street by yourself? And I just see the neediness in people a lot. People are like so needy and clingy. Even when it comes down to pets, they got to go out and buy a dog or a cat because people need companionship so bad, so desperately. Like being alone is just like the worst thing in the world. And I'm going to tell you some of the negative things that your mind will tell you about being alone, about being single. It'll tell you that you're inadequate, that you're unworthy. Nobody wants you. Nobody will ever want to be with you. You suck. Your family resents you. You're single because you have all of these flaws and all of these shortcomings. Those are the negative things that your mind will tell you. That's the trick bag right there. And the fact is, and the thing is, when you're really single, you're not having sex much. You maybe have sex here and there, or maybe not have sex. You maybe not have sex at all. Probably celibate. And that's a challenge within itself, because the ego is still telling you, oh, you can't get laid. You ain't fucking. You really suck. You ain't got no game. You a piece of shit. Don't nobody want you. You bad in bed. You suck in bed. That's why ain't no women trying to fuck with you. You ugly. You lame. That's what the ego, that's what the mind, that's that inner conflict that's gonna happen to you. But I'm gonna tell you all the joys and wonders that come with being by yourself. First of all, you don't have to perform for anybody. That's stress off your back right there. So you don't have to go home to your spouse and perform for them and put on a fucking show. Some of these people you see out here with these relationships, they putting on a damn show. It's all for show. Because anytime you see them posting pics of themselves all over Instagram and they need that validation, that's a damn show right there. And then when the doors are shut, they probably don't even sleep in the same damn room. And even if they are, they probably hate it. Probably don't even cuddle with each other anymore. The honeymoon phase is over and the real self comes out. So when you're single, performance is dead. No more performing. You can be your true, authentic self, whatever that is, in this material world. Because there's an authentic self for the material world, and there's also authentic self when God is involved. But I'm going to keep it on a material level for people. But you can be your authentic self. You can wear the clothes you want to wear. You can do the things that you like doing. Another thing about being single is the fact that you don't have to chase anymore. That's if you're truly single and you're not looking for anything. If you're like content with being where you are, you don't chase. You don't chase women anymore. You stop doing that. You don't care about the validation of women. You can walk past a woman and see a woman and be like, damn, she look good, but you don't have to chase her. You don't have to get her number. Your ego can't put you on the trick bag to chase her. I mean, I fall short in this sometimes. I'll see women that I like. I go up to them, cold approach. Because I come from that era, man, when you cold approach women. And I get their number and all that, but then I find out, I get their number. I'm like, dang, you know what, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to dive into this relationship or this friendship? I want to talk to this person. And a lot of times I really don't want to be involved with it, because a lot of people aren't where I'm at. A lot of people are still performing. They're still under this notion of a relationship has to be a certain way. A lot of women are still in that place. And I find myself not wanting to pursue women as much as I used to, because I'm just tired of it. Just tired of being performance driven. Because a lot of women think when a man pursues them, a man got to start taking them out on dates, got to start spending money, talk on the phone a little bit. Some of them don't even want to talk on the phone with you to build some kind of rapport and connection. They don't even want that. Talk to you. First time meeting you, maybe talk to you a few more times and then dodge you and ghost you a little bit. And then let's go out on a date. Go out on a date for what? I barely even know you. Well, it's social. But still, I need to build that phone connection with you first before I take you out. I need to see if this is worth my while before I go anyway. And for me, I can feel a woman through the phone. Just by talking to her, I can feel that energy. If the conversation is going back and forth, if the text messages are going back and forth, and we vibing, and the energy is good, and I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. But if I don't feel any of that, I won't even entertain her, because I can just tell that it's not going to be about nothing. Person just wants to spend my money. They want the experience. They want the dopamine rush, and that's that. Probably fuck, depending on how I'm feeling. Because a lot of these women, I really don't want to fuck, to be honest with you. I don't even want to do that as much as I used to anymore, because that's a headache within itself, fucking some of these females out here. And this ain't throwing no shade to the women out here. I'm just telling you that people are not right internally. When your peace within is not right, meaning when God is not right within, when the source is not right within, you're going to follow trends and you're going to follow a worldly format on how to live your life. And I don't live for that anymore. That's not my life. That hasn't been my life for a long time. So I find myself not being able to really kick it with people as much. Not just women, but people in general. Just don't have a whole lot in common with people. I'll talk to people here and there, but to be honest, I don't really have a whole lot of social interaction with people as much anymore, because people just, they live for shit that I'm just not into. They caught up in stuff that just doesn't move me anymore. You know what I mean? But yeah, being single, no more performing. You can do whatever you want. You can buy the things you want to buy for yourself. This is a big one, because when we're in a relationship, most of the times we have to share our money with our spouse, depending on what level you are in that relationship. You know what I mean? You got money. You know how women are. They want to go out and do things. But when you're by yourself, you don't have to spend your money on women. You don't have to go out and do anything. You can grocery shop, cook your own food, and save money. You don't have to get a fancy car to impress anybody. Like I said, you don't have to perform anymore. And this includes finances. You don't have to perform with your money. You don't have to go out on expensive dates, because you know some of these women want to go out on expensive dates. They want to go to nice places. Women like stuff like that. But when you're by yourself, you don't have to do all that. You can be frugal with your money. I mean, you can even be frugal with women, but some of them ain't going to deal with you if you ain't spending no bucks on them. So you can forget about that. You know how it is now, man. The bar has been raised with the females, so the standards have gone up. So if you want to date some of these women out here, you got to bring some money to the table, because a lot of them have entitlement issues. They feel entitled to your money. What's yours is theirs, and you're not even married to them. Don't even live in the same house with them. So I don't get that. But you can spend your money on yourself when you're single. You can go out to movies by yourself. You can go to dinners by yourself. It'll be hard in the beginning, because if you're a person who has always been in relationships, doing something with the opposite sex, then it's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle, because you're used to that companion. But when you're by yourself and you get over that hump, you'll start to become your own best friend, and you'll start to enjoy your own company. You'll start to enjoy that inner peace that you get from being by yourself. You don't have a person in your ear. Even their presence makes you want to perform. Sometimes a person just being around us puts us on the spot, because they have high expectations. And we know a lot of people can't sit in silence. I feel like when they're with you, they got to do a lot of talking and stuff, because they're nervous, or they just don't have that inner peace. So that's another thing about being single. You can enjoy your own company, spend your money on yourself. And another thing is peace of mind. Peace of mind is priceless. You don't have a person nagging. You don't have a person telling you, we got to do this, we got to do that. You have that joy and you're content when you're by yourself. You know, when you get in a relationship, it's always go, go, go. People need buffers. They have to have things to do, because to sit around and do nothing is boredom. But when you're by yourself, you can face boredom. You can enjoy not doing anything. You can wake up and just sit there and watch TV without being interrupted. You can play your video games and nobody, and your woman won't criticize you. You can do boring shit. Whatever that is for whoever's listening to this video. You can do that stuff without your spouse criticizing you. It's just you. But when you're in a relationship, your spouse needs buffers. Your significant other needs buffers. Remember that. They have to have things to do to fill in the gaps of boredom. So they got to go out on, they got to go to restaurants. They got to go on outings. They got to be talking and shit. They got to be watching movies with you. They got to be doing something. It can't just be silence. Some people are incapable of experiencing silence and peace. They don't know what that is. If you ask them to sit still for 10 minutes without doing anything, people would freak out. But anyway, you're going to face challenges being single, and a lot of it's going to come from your ego. A lot of it's going to be inner conflict. You're going to see different couples. You're going to see people that are happy, and you're going to see people that are unhappy out here. And it may be a struggle for you at first, but eventually it gets better. And eventually, once you get comfortable with yourself, you won't crave that as much. It'll happen here and there, but you got to understand that we're manipulated by our environment. So when you're watching certain movies, remember that that movie or that TV show is going to manipulate you. It's going to convince you. It's going to talk to the ego, and the ego is going to talk to you and be, oh, man, you need to find a woman like that. So be careful about what you watch on TV. Just remember that what you're watching is a fantasy compared to what's going on in reality. That you won't be able to replicate that. That's scripted. What you experience in real life, that's not a script. You're dealing with people that have free will. So don't allow movies and books, TV shows, or what you see on social media manipulate you into being in a relationship. There's no perfect relationship out there. So don't be put in a trick bag by that. That happens to all of us. We'll watch certain movies and TV shows on TV, and that stuff can easily manipulate you. It can easily convince you into going out looking for something that you don't need. So just be mindful of that. Single's not a bad thing. It's actually good. This society gives being single a bad rep. You know, you get looked at strange when you do things by yourself. You go to the grocery store. That's one of my biggest struggles sometimes, when I go to the grocery store and I see couples together and I'm by myself buying food, and I'm like, damn, man, I feel like a damn unicorn. I feel out of place a lot of times, especially when I go at night and I see people together. But then I got to remind myself that, you know what, this is my life. This is my journey. I've already been there and done all that stuff, and I didn't enjoy it. I never liked going to the grocery store with my significant other. I never liked doing that. I never liked going to the gym with my significant other. I always felt like I was being watched and under a microscope. And I'm quite sure a lot of those people that I see in the grocery store, and those people that are out and about in public, probably feel the same way I felt. Probably feel like they're under a microscope. Probably feel like they can't relax. Probably feel like every move is being watched and critiqued. And most likely it is. Your significant other is really watching and critiquing everything you do. And you got to put on a performance for them. But when you're by yourself, you don't have to do that. You can just go to the grocery store, wherever you're going to, and not worry about putting on a show for somebody, not worry about entertaining somebody and keeping their interest. Because that's what relationships are, entertainment. People want to be entertained. And a lot of this comes from the fact that we've been entertained by television. We've been entertained by media. And because we've been entertained so much, a lot of us are out here acting. Majority of the people you see are acting what they've seen on television or acting out what they've seen from their parents. Because that's what it is here. We're entertained. We're manipulated through media. We're manipulated through what we see. So it's hard to really be your true self. But what I feel and what I know, the true self just wants to relax and be at peace. The true self doesn't want to perform. The true self doesn't want to live in an unauthentic lifestyle. The true self wants to be genuine, wants to be its truest self in its truest form. And that's peace. The true self doesn't want to try too hard. It doesn't want to put on a show. It doesn't want to act and try to impress. The true self is happy being single. I'm not going to sit here and say that relationships are all bad, because sometimes relationships are needed depending on what season you're in your life. It's needed. Maybe you need that pick-me-up to get you to the next level. So you may need a companion for a little bit. But to be in a relationship for the long term, I don't think it's good for the human soul. I don't think so. I think that the human soul, the human spirit needs to be free and experience life for itself. When we're in a relationship, it stops us from experiencing life on our own terms, because we're constantly looking back, living for the other person. So when we can do this thing on our own, we get more out of it. More things come to us. More creativity comes to us. We have more of an abundance within self. And we don't have to share that with a spouse. So just think about that. Ponder that. If you're in a relationship, think about, what do you truly want? What do you truly desire? Take away the benefits from that relationship and ask yourself, would you be in that if it didn't come with all that? And if you're single, continue being single. Embrace it. Love it. Learn more about yourself. Create more. Do more. Be more productive in your life. Or do nothing. Enjoy the peace. Enjoy the solitude. Enjoy not having to perform for anybody and put on a show. Enjoy that. And for those of you that are locked in a cage, try to unlock yourself. Because we've been told that relationships, to be in a relationship, is like the missing piece to our puzzle. We've been told to stay away from being alone. That being alone is for people that are crazy, that are mentally ill, or something's wrong with them. They don't have the makings. They don't have what it takes to be with people. They have shortcomings. But as you can see, things have been exposed, and we're learning that a lot of things we've been told are a lie. And that a lot of the shit that we've been sold is actually not true. Maybe the true identity of a human being is to be single and be asexual. Maybe that's what it is.